Attention. The movie guys love movies. Any jokes made about how easy it is to read a teleprompter are purely for entertainment purposes only. Isn't that right, Jim Tarzana?
Please welcome the wickedly talented one and only Adele Dazeem.
Who are you? To show them how to throw the discus.
This ain't nothing new.
Any one of those three would have done better with that name.
Welcome, John Travolta, to the Hall of Indecipherables. That'll be Stallone's next movie, The Indecipherables.
And when that happened, Paul had to explain to me what he was trying to say, because I didn't know the artist.
And her name is a little unique, but
What
it
is it?
sounded like he really liked her the way he did that whole build-up about how great she was.
He's been a
that-
big fan for years.
Nailed that part.
Yeah, and then he couldn't say her name.
And theater geeks everywhere, their brains exploded.
And what's her name, though? What's her real
Idina
Idina
Menzel.
Menzel.
Idina Menzel. So I've been wanting to look at that in print to try to figure out how did he get there.
If you write if you write it down, you'll be able to memorize it.
It's
That's a little trick I've learned.
You've already
Karen.
misspelled it. There's no N.
I-D-I-N-A.
I-D-I-N-A.
Well, see, this is where it all went wrong for Mr.
Yeah,
Travolta.
maybe it was a teleprompter.
no.
He hasn't blamed it, though.
He read everything else perfectly.
You would have said at least Idina
Idina
Menzel.
Menzel. Yeah, this is what I'm getting at, is that to look at that name,
Now,
how did he get to
some-
Adele Menzine?
Now, this, I have to say, too, people have said, oh, well, you know, he's dyslexic. And I said, yeah, but he said everything else perfectly. So don't even.
Hey, I am not going to make fun of the man because we're doing a show where there's hard words coming.
I'm surprised he didn't mention the number 8 in the middle of it.
What?
Right, just Adina 1712 Menzel.
His wig was too tight.
He had his presenter's wig on.
He had
That's why I thought
presenter
everything was going to go great.
Presenter hair. He had presenter hair on.
He switched from his sitting in the aisles hair to the presenter hair.
Do you suppose they asked him who he was wearing up here?
That would have been my first question.
It's the Raquel Welch line.
From the Elton John collection, right?
Hey, welcome to the Movie Showcast, everybody, part of the vast and sprawling Movie Guys empire. And remember, sex and golf are the two things you can enjoy, even if you're not good at them.
True.
You've reached ground zero for all things movies and comedy. We bring the two together right here on our show every week with jokes, rants, sketches, characters, bits, special guests, and more as we broadcast from the Admirals Club. Back here comfy in the Admirals Club after a week on the red carpet.
Oh, yes.
Located in the heart of Burbank Airport's flyover zone. They don't stop making movies, so we don't stop making comedy shows about movies, which means you can get a new show every week on iTunes, SoundCloud, and YouTube, absolutely free. And we encourage you to subscribe. And if you do, still no charge. We're also on one of the fastest growing internet radio stations out there, WBAD.net, where you can hear our show Fridays at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 Pacific. Also catch our movie reviews and articles on WBAD's website. And of course, themovieguys.net. Your hosts for the hardest working podcast on the airwaves include myself, Paul Preston, here with Lee Caius and Karen Volpe. Lee's been out a couple of weeks. He is back.
Yes, happy to be here.
Adam is out, though. We can't get everybody together. But in his chair the whole show is actor and comedian Vanessa Whitney.
Hey, Vanessa Whitney.
Hey-oh. And as ever, we will be all over our signature movie previews, giving you the heads up about everything coming to theaters this weekend. First up, 300, Rise of an Empire. Now there is a movie that's been made. Followed by Mr. Peabody and Sherman, which in some circles is known as the best time travel animated movie since Freebirds. I don't travel in such circles, but get excited. And finally, a new film from the man Karen says we have to thank for hipsters. Did he birth hipsters? Who knows? But this is his latest movie.
And so my life began. Junior lobby boy in training under the strict command of Monsieur Gustave H. Many of the hotel's most valued and distinguished guests came for him.
I love you.
I love you. She was dynamite in the sack, by the way.
She was 84.
I've had older.
The Grand Budapest Hotel, the latest from Wes Anderson.
Harpsichord.
Harpsichord, that's what it is.
That's what I was thinking of the other night, not mandolin.
Well, I think later it becomes mandolin.
Oh, does it become a mandolin?
When they start running, I think it becomes a mandolin.
right.
When it's
Right.
calm,
When
I
Ray
think it's a
finds-
harpsichord.
when Ray finds is on the run. Either way, both the right instruments
Yeah.
for a Wes Anderson
Of
trailer.
course.
Always.
Yeah.
Because they're instruments from hundreds of years ago.
Or yesterday. I'm not sure.
Exactly.
I have no idea.
That's his mystique.
He also
Yes.
seems like a ukulele guy.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Which
Or-
is pronounced ukulele.
Ukulele, I was just
That's
going to
right.
say. And he would call that out, too.
Now, why do you know that?
Because I've been to Hawaii.
Because it's, yeah. They
been to
pronounce
Hawaii.
only the vowels there.
You didn't learn that in Hawaii? That's the first thing they tell
No,
you.
we were
Ukulele.
busy going to the hot tub, and
Oh.
there wasn't a lot of pronouncing.
Yeah, we went
things.
on like 9/18/2001.
Yeah.
They
It
were
was-
just happy to see us.
There was no one there but Paul and I. As a matter of fact, there were 4 hot tubs under these falls. And the first night there, we were in a hot tub, and we were the only 2 people that we thought in this resort. And so we're just kind of hanging out in the hot tub. And this other couple that must have been just married as well, they came over, and they started out in the hot tub way over there. And then they kind of got, it was weird. There's no one there.
Well,
'cause
don't
it was
make eye
9/11.
contact. They're going to come over.
They slowly just went to the next hot tub, and they still felt uncomfortable. And eventually they ended up in the hot tub with us talking about 9/11.
So how was that? Wait a minute.
I was going to say, wait, did you have spiced meats and talk about your lovers?
Yes,
No, we talked
darling.
about ukulele.
Ukulele.
Well, I would just think that joining a hot tub with 2 other people is what would be uncomfortable. I would
No,
move
they came
out
over.
of the hot tub.
No, they came over, and then we just sat there and we're like, so you guys were able to get your flight out? And they're like, yeah.
Not in the immediate post 9/11 America, man. We were all
That's
tight.
right.
We were all
That's
accepting.
right.
You're right.
We were all in the same hot tub together.
Right. Now we're back to like hating everybody.
You know, that's the euphemism I hear a lot. It's America's like one big hot tub.
It's like a bouillabaisse.
They had Schoolhouse Rock about that, right? The Great
Yes.
American Hot Tub.
That's Great American Hot Tub. That's exactly right.
All the good stuff floats to the top.
Hey,
Maybe they were swingers and we didn't pick up on it.
No, they were swingers and you
Ding,
didn't.
ding.
They're migrating from hot tub to hot tub. Of course they're swingers.
That's right.
hey, so we're back comfortably here in the, perhaps too comfortably, in the Admirals Club a month from now.
You guys should do a show in a hot tub.
I totally am
God,
thinking
you
we
kidding
need
me?
to get a hot tub.
do that.
We could write it off.
The
Yeah.
Movie Guys hot
Oh my
tub.
God, right off the whole damn hot
it.
tub.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hot
yes.
tub movie review.
There
Could
you
you
go.
imagine?
Patent pending.
Patent pending.
Which is nothing special about it except you're in a hot
really
tub.
good.
So you can write it off.
Yeah, exactly.
I like your
That's
plan.
right.
But a month from now, we will be at the Phoenix Film Festival.
Yay!
Yeah.
Pretty
Sweet.
exciting. You know, we'll be looking at. I just found out that the lead movie, the opening night movie, is a movie called Locke, L-O-C-K-E, and it stars Tom Hardy. So I got the
Ooh.
whole list of movies that are coming. Tons of big.
One half of the Hardy Boys.
Tons. He's Bane.
Oh, okay.
And he's from Inception, and he's
Yes.
he's awesome.
Is he
And
going to talk like girls?
Perhaps
I hope he does.
perhaps he will. No, I think after that it's like I'm gonna show my face as much as possible.
I thought about that in that movie, about how he got cast as one of the leads, and you never get. I wouldn't recognize him on the street after that movie.
Me either.
Right?
Oh, he was in Star Trek Genesis. Is that the name of it? Nemesis, as the sort of evil Picard. But who knew? I mean, then he becomes
Now
a thing.
I know who
and now
he
you got to go back
is.
and go, oh, that's him. Plus, he was also like skinny. You know, now he's all
Yeah.
buff and ripped. And so anyway, hey, speaking of guys you like,
Buff and ripped.
I don't know if we were, but there's a
Yes.
new Johnny Depp documentary showing at the Phoenix Film Fest.
What?
Oh, I
The
like
docu-
that very much.
A documentary about Johnny Depp?
No, but the documentary Johnny Depp is doing about.
Oh,
Well, hopefully
didn't it sound like there was a documentary about Johnny Depp?
I was already
That'd be
there
great. He'd
watching
never- I
it.
don't think he'd allow it.
There's more
I think
mystique
he's
for him
too
to
private.
put together.
Yeah.
Before his whole
He's
story
super
is told in the
private.
documentary. And Jude Law's got a movie playing there, so it's going to be lots of.
I love Jude Law.
Yeah. There's
It's
going
been a
to be.
while
He's in
since-
the Grand Budapest Hotel.
He's got very narrow shoulders. Have you ever noticed that?
This is your thing on.
This is all that, not all, but it's one of the things I've noticed about him. I think it was in I Heart Huckabees. Is he in that movie?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
That's when I noticed his narrow shoulderage.
He's got
Shoulderage.
gorgeous
Think it
blue
helps
eyes,
him
though.
play Watson? Because you don't want to be like a big rugged
Right.
stud. You can't.
He's very
out-stud
British. He's
Robert
very
Downey
like
Jr.
pasty and blue-eyed and curly hair, and he's
It's either
skinny
that or
and
his head is amazingly big.
That's what's
That's
happened
why
to
his
Matthew
shoulders look so
McConaughey.
small.
Matthew
Oh,
McConaughey
yes.
is a hottie patati, but he needs
too
to gain a
skinny
little of his
now.
muscle back because now he looks like a supermodel.
He looks
when they
creepy.
get big head and the girls are too skinny.
He looks creepy now.
He
All in the
does.
name, all
He
in the
needs
name
more.
of The Craft.
The craft.
That bad movie.
Yes.
So we're gonna have some big names in the films. I don't know who's gonna show up, of course, but and then tens, if not hundreds, of other films being shown during that week. Pretty excited. I'm gonna bring up the name of that movie because now that I brought it up, I feel like I should
Locke?
correctly name the Johnny Depp.
Oh, the
film.
documentary?
Yeah, it was documentary.
He's producing it?
yeah, and he's in it. It's him and another guy.
Oh, that's very cool.
And they
so
have
he is in-
adventures. Yeah, but it's
Adventures
not about
with
him.
Johnny
That was
Depp.
the thing.
Wait a
can't
minute.
wait.
None of this sounds right. So it's a documentary, not about Johnny Depp,
No.
but featuring him.
Hold.
Sure.
one
He's
moment.
probably
Where
doing
he
like
has
the
adventures.
interviewing and the.
Where he has adventures is exactly right.
Is there a magic watch that takes him through time?
And there's a dog who can talk.
Is there a talking
And then
pie?
there's a man who runs a hotel who has sex with old women. It's all coming
Johnny
into play.
Depp
Yes.
pays a call on his friend and hero, Ralph Steadman.
Sure.
And
Oprah's boyfriend.
And we take off on a high-spirited, raging, and kaleidoscopic journey, discovering the life and works of one of the most distinctive radical artists of the last 50 years. So this is about an artist that Johnny Depp really digs, and he joins him on this crazy adventure.
And he would, in fact, say, I dig him, because Johnny Depp
like
is beatnik like that.
Put this in your mind and remember it for the rest of your days. How's he say that?
No one makes fun of Tim Allen.
Tim Allen.
On my watch.
A raging kaleidoscopic sounds painful.
It's
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Colonoscopy, sorry.
it sounds like a drug trip.
So I already knew we had movies coming there with like Gillian Jacobs and Jason Ritter and those type of folks. And now there's some
I
other
wanna
big
see
names
that.
coming. Again, and if you go to phoenixfilmfestival.com, click on view schedule, everything's up. So
Yeah.
it wasn't up by the time we made our last video that was announcing all of the in competition films. But now you can go there and you can see they've got, from 9 a.m. practically to 11 at night, they've got movies showing Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of the fest. And then, of course, the rest of the whole week of it as well.
Will Johnny be there? He's going to be there. You know he's going to.
I just hope it's not
I love
dry.
him.
It's going to be dry. It's Arizona.
I like to stay supple.
I know.
That's when we need the hot tub.
I was going to say, you need to take the
All right, let's get on to our first
Or
film. There's lots
sauna.
to cover. Not since the casting call for the failed stage production of the Village People's YMCA has there been this many sweaty, shirtless men standing in a line. It's our first film of a big 3-movie weekend, 300, Rise of an Empire. In 2006, the first 300 movie was released. Really? 8 years ago? Seems like we were goofing on this movie just a few weeks ago.
No, Paul, that was Pompeii.
Ah, right. Yeah. So can we just use those jokes?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we probably can't, but... Anyway, it was only a matter of time before the early morning infomercials for P90X and Insanity made the jump to the big screen. And so it is with the latest fitness phenomenon, 300. Apparently, the key to success of this workout is muscle pillaging. I predict this will outsell the last Greek workout craze, abs of marble.
300, Rise of an Empire, is the sequel to 2006's 300. Whereas the original 300 starred enough manly, oiled-up chests to fill a week's worth of Bear magazine, 300, Rise of an Empire, is that also.
Yeah, pretty much. 300, Rise of an Empire, which I guess tested better as a title than 600, tells the story of Themistocles as he prepares for a sea battle against his enemies, colonoscopies, I guess, and Bicycles, who I guess is the god of going both ways. Then Xerox, the god-man of Persia, joins with amnesia.
Paul,
something.
I don't think any of that's true.
I don't either. I'm just kind of struggling here, Lee. I'm really having trouble with these names and places.
Boys. It's simple.
Oh.
The sequel tells the story of the Battle of Artemisium, which was concurrent with 300's Battle of Thermopylae between the Greeks and the Persians. Part of the film will also focus on the Battle of Salamis, home to the mythical hero Ajax.
Involved in the battles will be Xerxes I of Persia and Artemisia I of Caria, who Queen Gorgo of Sparta pits against Themistocles.
Oh, yeah.
Well, thank you, ladies.
Yeah, but
I would
crystal
have got
clear.
there. I would have got there.
Yeah,
eventually.
Paul, you were very close with colonoscopies.
What we're trying to say is there hasn't been this much smack talk about the Greeks since Phi Delta Theta took out Kappa Sigma in flag football.
Now, while Green Screen the movie was not directed by Zack Snyder, it is shot with the exact same style, so the movie feels dated, and you'd swear the effects were from 2006.
Yeah, and I haven't heard of anyone in this movie, so they all must be great on Game of Thrones.
The film covers events before, during, and after the first 300. So it's a sequel and a prequel in what they're calling a freaky dequel.
One of the taglines for Thunder from Down Under, the movie, is, "We would rather die on our feet than live on our knees." Well, some men and women make a very good living on their knees. You know, bricklayers, carpet installers,
Vanessa.
whores.
This is the movie franchise that brought us Gerard Butler, without whom there would be no Olympus Has Fallen. So there's that.
And ladies, now's your chance to see a 300 movie, because there are going to be plenty of good seats, as no guys will be sitting next to each other. And even if it's sold out, you could scoop up one of those not a homo seats. There you go. That's 300, everybody. Rise of an Empire.
Lots of abs.
That's not 300. It's 300 Rise of an Empire.
Mm-hmm.
Totally
Is there a colon there?
Different thing.
It's going to be a rise out of my
Isn't the deal
neighborhood.
that we decided the colon lets more shit pass through?
That's right.
Yep, just like the colon in the body.
I have I have absolutely no interest in this one. I didn't want to see the first one. I heard it was a success, but I do want to say something about the green screen.
Yes.
Because no sets were harmed in the making of this movie. There was no set designing, dressing, no plants removed. Does that make it harder to act?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I would think
So thank God they don't have to act in this movie, right? There's no acting in the movie either.
I got to say that I said this one other time, and I kind of think it's true. We give, I pick on people in this movie just because I think it's a silly movie and I won't go see it. But, and I love Meryl Streep. She's so amazing. But I almost think Meryl Streep has it easier because when she's mad at Julia Roberts, she's yelling at Julia Roberts.
Yeah.
When these people are talking to the underworld ghost of orangeness or whatever the hell it is, and then a big dragon.
It's a
and
rather
then-
orange movie. You're right.
Yeah, whatever it is, that thing's not there, and so they have to make it up. And I'm almost wondering if they talk to an actual thing, they'd be better.
Usually, yeah, they.
It's not fair.
It would be really tough, I think. Although I'm torn because I have friends who work in visual effects, digital effects, and so I'm thrilled for them because I think, oh, hooray for
yeah,
the
so
work
much
for
work.
you. But as Lee said, it takes away so much work from, people who work construction and they design the sets and they build the set and
can you really get that angry at a Muppet? Because that's what you're looking at, right? Like just like
It's a tennis ball,
it's
dude.
a tennis ball with ping pong balls stuck to it.
Yeah.
That's what you're yelling at, and that's what's about to kill
It's
you.
impressive that they act really scared.
So it's a lot of imagination.
A lot of imagination.
and
drugs.
Yeah, and that's something that I have heard. Oh gosh, what's his name? Noah something or other.
Russell Crowe?
No,
Noah Baumbach?
no, from
Noah Wyle?
Never-Ending Story. He
Noah Hathaway?
Noah Hathaway. He
Well, no
has
wonder
said,
you were struggling for
No,
that.
listen.
Jesus. Noah Hathaway pulled his ass out of nowhere?
He has
Good for you.
said that it was so incredible to actually have the things there. Because that's kind of the last era that they really had practical effects instead of the digital stuff. And Falkor was there. He laid on top of this big animatronic thing, and I think it's so much better to do it that way because it's there.
Guillermo del Toro's still doing it, though. In fact, we used to work at Universal, and we sat there talking
Love
about all the
him.
practical effects used in Hellboy 2.
Love him.
But he didn't
had
do
a-
that with Pacific Rim.
No,
right?
he didn't build giant
He went-
robots.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but a lot of the monsters
That would've been awesome.
from Hellboy 2 were right out of the cantina, it seemed.
But the
From
next
Star Wars
question is,
cantina.
how far away? When I saw this preview and I watched the other preview as well, why even bother with actors? Are we close enough to just get rid of actors and just cartoon everybody?
Hey, it's hard
No,
enough to
that's-
get a part now that all of the movie stars are doing TV.
That's
Come
my
on.
concern, right?
Yeah, well, but they still have. That's how I think sort of motion capture sort of helps, though, because they discovered when Andy Serkis did that. Oh, it really helped the character because then they did have an actor and expressions to go with Gollum and
the
the
apes.
apes and
Right, but,
everything.
But
he's
the
played.
full-on mocap movies are not at their peak right now. I want to say they're dead, but they might come back. But even Robert Zemeckis made Flight and kind of said, Beowulf, Christmas Carol, whatever, I'm Polar Express, might be done with those. Mars
Thank
Need Bombs
God. That
buried the
was
shit out of
awful.
a whole studio that
Flight,
was doing
yes,
a lot
Flight
of
was
that
horrible.
kind of stuff.
Do you suppose that Ray Harryhausen was having this discussion with friends like, it's never going to get better than this, guys?
Yeah, exactly. Miniatures attacking, Jason and the Argonauts.
Yeah.
I
never
was
see better
thought
than
when we
this.
first saw this movie, I thought that this looks like Lord of the Rings, only with really hot guys instead of like short little hairy men. So I did like that aspect of this movie.
But it also has the homosexual overtones like
No, no.
Bilbo
Like
and
Bilbo and
Samwise
Overtone.
Gamgee.
Yeah.
That's
But
right.
at
Overtone,
least-
undertone.
I'm just saying,
Undercarriage.
at
Hello.
least the actors in this film, the men have all manscaped. That's all I'm saying.
So
It's
of movies you
fantastic.
wouldn't see, this is better.
Okay,
Lord of
this
the
would
Rings defeats
come
Lord of the
after
Rings.
Lord of the Rings and after The Hobbit.
Okay, so they're
I would
hotter.
and it comes after Avatar. Like
Karen.
it comes before those. I would see this before those.
Right, exactly.
So these are okay. So
Yeah.
but who smells better, The Hobbit or these guys?
These guys, because hobbits are hairy, and come
Hairy
on,
traps
we've all
odor?
been there.
Hair traps
Come
odor?
on, yeah.
Traps the odor.
You know.
Feet are hairy. If your
Ew.
feet aren't
Plus-
stinky enough.
Plus, these guys all go to the baths afterwards.
Oh
But
yeah.
look, here's a little something that's trying to bring in the straight crowd. Because they obviously came out. 300 was a huge hit back in 06 or 07, I think it came out. And so everybody, I don't know how, came out to see this. At a weird time of the year, too, in March. So they're just trying to repeat history and see if they can make the money again. But they're bringing them in with some heavy metal. Listen to this
That'll do
bit
it.
of the trailer.
I'll attack the Greeks with my entire navy.
Just like witches at black masses.
He has sold us soul to death himself.
In the fields of bodies burning.
I mean, Ozzy would bring me right there. Yep.
As the war machine keeps turning.
That's badass.
That is really cool.
That's very awesome.
I will go to that.
I'd see that. Yeah, absolutely.
Turns out it doesn't matter what rock music you put in there. I just love rock and roll. Yeah.
That breeze became a wind. A wind, my brothers, of sacrifice.
Yeah! Cat Vikings, right here.
A wind of justice. A wind of vengeance.
Is that Cypher Rage?
that was Led Zeppelin.
Oh, that was
Led Zeppelin.
And my favorite band is, of course, Rage Against the Machine.
Nothing will stop the march of my empire.
Right?
I'm seeing all this movie.
Even better.
Yeah, that's better.
Yep.
I love rock and roll, man. They don't use enough of it in trailers. They're always playing that.
Now listen, there's also a place for Skrillex. It's okay. Don't be
Skrillex?
Yeah.
What the hell?
Wait a minute,
did
you
just
gave it a
say?
name?
What was that?
Well, no, it's a.
What do you
Enough.
say?
They make the
Why is
music.
she
They
here?
make the.
Skrillex.
They make
that
the
sounds
music.
like a
They're a
paper
group that makes
whitening.
the.
I took Skrillex because I had a runny nose.
It can
It
be
sounds like
very
a
effective
whiteout
as well.
material.
You got to go right to bed after Skrillex.
Oh my
Kids,
God.
kids, you know who I mean. It's okay.
She babysits. She must be around that kind of thing.
Well, at least 300 Rise of an Empire gives gay guys an answer to why they are wandering around Santa Monica Boulevard in a leather loincloth and sandals.
It's the new Halloween costume.
So we wanted to know what the WeHo community thought of this film.
Oh,
right?
Oh,
yes.
I'm excited.
The kids are calling it. Let's find out in another edition of West Hollywood Movie Review. Now, we have on the phone here.
Oh.
Well, it's actually on the ISDN line. So, because we're fancy in the Admirals Club. And let's talk to our West Hollywood reviewer and see what they have to say about 300 Rise of an Empire. Now, first of all, they're all very toned over there, right?
Yes, of course.
West Hollywood,
So-
yes.
yeah.
I got kicked out because I gained 4 pounds.
There you go.
Yep.
Yeah.
So my first question would be, hi there, if you're with us, I want to ask you, if someone's going to the movies, what do you recommend concessions-wise?
But let me just say this to your viewers. Watch what you're eating tomorrow. The most important thing is your family and friends, not how much stuffing. And listen to this sound when you eat too much and the buttons pop.
Oh, okay.
Stuffing
well,
at a theater. That's an
that's
interesting.
an aggressive
Yeah,
film
that's-
goer.
You know why? Because in West Hollywood, they have very nice things. They have
yes.
stuffing at a theater.
Fondue, stuffing. There's probably a whole brie.
So let me ask you, who should go and see this movie?
More obese kids.
Well, that's give 'em something to shoot for us.
Well,
Yes.
it's a shaming of a
Yeah.
shaming of them.
Now, this is a story, of course, about the 300 people who were protecting, as best they could, Sparta from the attack of the Persians. So it was like 300 people versus a nation. Did they deserve to inherit the earth? These Persians who eventually win?
When you're overweight or you feel different or you don't fit in, you have low self-worth. But when you have self-worth, you inherit the earth.
So the Persians had
Well, I don't know if it's
self-worth.
I don't know though, Paul. I don't know if we should call all Persians fat. I mean,
That's what I don't want to mark you as saying that. So,
Oh, okay.
but Listen, what we're really talking about is that the movie is an escapist, right? It's an escape thing, isn't it?
You know, we live in a world with a lot of stress.
It's true. That is
I would
true.
be stressed out if I was being attacked by 300 really hot guys with lots of muscles.
Or fat Persians.
I'd be pleased, but that's just me.
We live in a world where everybody is bullying, and
What do you think of that?
it's horrifying. But you know, I
Who's
never
there with
told
you?
this story. But when I
Somebody
was in
walk
high
into the room
school,
with him?
in all Catholic boys' high school. When I went
Wait
to
a minute, this is the Greeks.
The stall, they would put lighter
They're all the
fluid
same,
under
Karen.
and put a flame to it.
Wait a minute. They would light him on fire?
I guess. I mean, he's just
What's
going off at this
happening?
point. I'm just trying to get your opinions on the film,
I've
really.
always been for the underdog.
Okay, perfect. Well,
He
now we're
probably
getting
likes
back to
Bill
what we're
Murray
talking
movies.
about. And so do you feel this film represents that well?
I feel like I'm inside a jukebox.
Okay.
You know, it could be...
Moon hits
Oh, Jesus. We're just trying to get a review here.
It's because it's about the Greeks
This happens
and Romans.
every time I try and get the West Hollywood movie review going on here.
You knew better,
I want to
Paul.
take my clothes off.
Okay.
Oh,
well, that's-
he'd be perfect in the movie.
Okay, well, we're going to let you go because you're just kind of going.
Bless you and your family. Say hello to them.
Hi,
But before you go,
goodbye,
wait a minute.
thank
I want to get one thing accomplished with the West Hollywood movie review. Give me just your quick thoughts, please. Sum up the film for me in one sentence.
Spank time.
Okay.
Oh,
Congratulations. There's the West Hollywood movie review, everybody. That's
Well, it's right. He is right. That is spank time.
Spank time for both the people, both sexes can spank off to this
That's
movie.
right.
well. Thank God he called it.
But we do need to talk about why
We
a
do?
straight guy would go and see this. By himself with another straight guy.
Violence,
Oh, I guess
Sword
there's good.
play.
machismo.
Naked men beating each other up.
Well,
There's
that
one
too.
hot woman.
Yeah, she's kind of hottie.
There's two. There's Eva.
There's
Green.
two, everybody.
Eva Green and Lena Headley. They're both in it.
You know what? Why are we?
Pronounced Headley.
Why is this a conversation? Because I just thought about this. How many times do Vanessa and I have to sit through an entire movie of every woman being hot, and you get a fat, schlumpy guy and like
That's
one
right.
guy who's sort of cute in that Boy Next Door way,
That's
and
right.
we have to sit there and look at all these naked hot chicks.
That's right. So
What movie is this, Karen? I
it's
need to go to movies with you.
It happens all the time. If you watch
Yeah.
like Best Friend's Holiday or some
that's
movie
true. Yeah.
about a
Love that
bunch,
you call it that.
That's right.
whatever it is, Best Man's Holiday.
I knew exactly what
all
you were talking
of
about.
the women are hot,
Yeah.
and the men are whatever.
The best man holiday?
Well, the men are hot in that
It's Tay
too.
Diggs.
Those dudes are big.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean.
I do know what
Let
you
me
mean.
give you an
It's true.
example.
I do. It's Adam Sandler
No,
and
any
Selma
Adam- yeah.
Hayek.
Yes,
That's what you're talking
yes.
Any
We
movie
have
with
to
Kevin
accept
James
it.
in it.
Yes, and we accepted it as no big deal. And now we're like, there's only two.
The Holiday, Jack
Yes.
Black. He's a chubby
What?
dude, and,
And
he's
that's-
like, and well, you got Jude Law, who's, but
Narrow
You
shoulders.
get one Jude Law. This whole movie's Jude Law.
yeah,
Get one
exactly.
Jude Law.
That's
With
right.
the narrow shoulders.
Yeah, I
That's
know.
right.
We've
No.
come full circle. Can we talk about different movies?
We can. Our next film,
Oh.
skewing towards a different demographic, although that Peabody seems a little gay. It's Mr. Peabody and Sherman. Adhering to the edict that everything must get animated, no matter how small the audience or how tepid the demand, Mr. Peabody and Sherman draws the short straw, narrowly avoiding Marmaduke 2 and Family Circus 3D.
This is going to be a great version of the Saturday morning cartoon classic Mr. Peabody and Sherman, for those of you not at all familiar with Mr. Peabody and Sherman.
Now, in the original J. Ward cartoon from the 1950s, Mr. Peabody sounded like David Hyde Pierce. But here, they've cast Ty Burrell from Modern Family. Well, why not David Hyde Pierce? I assume this was cast from the Jason Lee sounds like underdog school of thought.
But it also features the voice of Patrick Warburton, whose voice should be in everything. Huh? You really wouldn't believe how many animated movies came out this year without his voice. It's a shame, really.
Now, the mythology of this story is of a dog who adopts a boy, which sounds a little ridiculous until you hear the logic the movie applies to overcome that particular plot point.
If a boy can adopt a dog, I see no reason why a dog cannot adopt a boy.
This sort of movie logic is rather common.
A boy being adopted by a dog? Well, not since my two dads has a preteen had so much splaining to do about their home life.
Young Sherman gets in trouble at school for biting a female classmate, Penny. Must have learned that from his father.
Eventually, Penny's family visits Peabody and Sherman to sort things out. So what, they got the plot for a kids movie from God of Carnage?
In an attempt to win her affection and get on Penny's good side, he decides to try and impress her by showing her the Wayback Machine, a time travel device invented by Peabody. What a guy won't do to get laid. We'll literally go back in time and alter history if we think there's even a chance we'll get some action.
Mr. Peabody and Sherman has this 21st century cartoon sheen on it. It looks like every other cartoon out there, like The Croods, Kung Fu Panda, Madagascar, as if every character is now going to the same school and they're totally forced to dress alike. Is this in 3D, Paul?
It's a movie, isn't it? There you go. Mr. Peabody and Sherman.
Wow. I never heard of this. I apparently did not get that channel on the TV. We only got 2 channels.
It was right along with
Tennessee Tuxedo.
Yes.
Now, did you know Tennessee?
Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Nope.
No?
It's all the same channel, I'm telling you.
Oh my God. And his friend Chumbly.
No idea what a chumbly is.
The walrus.
He was the walrus.
See?
And he was
thought
really
it was a
dumb.
dog.
Tennessee Tuxedo was really smart. Was he Don
Adams?
Don Adams?
Jay
Yeah.
Tennessee.
Yeah. Chumbly.
Tennessee Tuxedo.
That's right.
No,
Tennessee.
I watched
It's
Wait Till Your
Tennessee
Father Gets
Tuxedo.
Home. Wait Till Your Father Gets Home. That's what I watched. It came out of Canada.
Wait a minute.
Watch
Wait.
Canadian shows.
There was a show called Wait Till Your Father.
Wait till your father gets. Wait till your father gets. Wait till your father gets home.
Is it all about getting hit by dad when he gets home?
Sort of.
So you do something stupid and then dad comes and whacks you?
See, I'd
Kind
rather
of.
just follow a dog through time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not saying I was psyched about it, but that's what I was watching.
This from the
apparently.
Canadians? I'm
The
surprised.
Canadians, yeah. It was
that was
good.
something, though, I will say, we always wondered, where were Sherman's parents? That they were fine with him just every week just disappearing?
Well, he was adopted.
That's his
Paul
dad.
gave us the mythology.
Well,
Yeah, it was actually in the original cartoon.
In the original cartoon, he
but he was
adopted.
adopted by him.
Yes, he was an orphan.
Now, see, I didn't.
Yeah.
I learned that, and I got to tell you, it was a very cute cartoon. We were watching it, and then Paul turned it off, and I was sad.
Oh, sorry, we didn't watch the whole thing. It's
I
true.
wonder if
It
they
was
ever
good.
got visits from, people who came to check in on Sherman and make sure.
Like the orphanage.
Mr.
They probably just skipped that
Peabody
because they
wasn't
got like Da Vinci to meet. you
I
know?
always loved. I don't know if it was on. I can't remember if it was on The Simpsons or if it was on Family Guy or whatever. They did sort of a little tribute to the two of them, and Sherman says
I can tell
something
you
like,
which one it was on. If it was funny, it was The Simpsons.
I think it was funny.
Continue.
Okay. So, but he like Sherman was being all know-it-all and everything, and finally Mr. Peabody just turns to him and goes, "Quiet, you." And I always loved that. It was on. It was. I think it was The Simpsons. It was just beautiful, little cartoon moment.
I'm already disappointed in this movie, and I won't go see it.
What?
No,
Is it
it's
David
because,
Hyde Pierce?
No, Paul and I talked about this. They completely missed the boat on this, and I think Ty Burrell's one of the reasons. And whenever something like this happens, when like a Ty Burrell, who yeah, I know Modern Family, but who Ty Burrell, Orange Juice guy, gets a really great. He does that orange juice ad.
Does he?
Yeah, it's exactly.
Funny, though.
Sure.
He's funny though.
But you could just tell that there was so much lobbying going on behind the scenes. Like somebody's agent owed somebody a favor, and
It's Disney.
There is a dead hooker being hidden in somebody's trunk right now, and that's why Ty Burrell has this gig. He saw it happen, and he's not ratting anybody out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really should have. In my opinion, it should have been David Hyde Pierce, but I know lots of teetering and tottering goes.
Yeah.
So.
Huge hit though. Think the kids will come out? They still going to see Lego Movie?
Let's see, what's the competition? A bunch of sweaty men or a Wes Anderson movie? Yes, it'll be fine.
I think they'll still go see the Lego Movie. I think they'll go see it again.
You know, the Croods made
Instead.
money this time last year. A ton of money that I didn't even think it would.
That's because parents are getting sick of their kids being inside with the snow days and stuff.
And let's just, I want a quick shout out to a movie that I think didn't make too much money. It made some, but Turbo. It was a great animated film. It's a little LA specific, but great. Bit urban and fun. And
I fully expected that movie to blow. It was
and the
entertaining.
music was
Oh,
fantastic.
the movie
and
was hilarious.
It was great.
Are we talking about 300 again?
Yes.
We've moved on
The
to
move
Turbo.
blowing?
The movie
What?
blowing, yes.
But you know what? When a movie like Mr. Peabody versus Sherman comes out, it does give us another chance to play Borscht Belt movie reviews.
Oh, Wayback Machine. I'd like to go way back and get my $12 back.
I wish this Wayback Machine would take me to see Back to the Future instead. Oh!
My friend told me this film was from DreamWorks. I said, if your dreams work so well, why don't you go back to bed instead of taking up our time with this movie?
Last time I saw a talking dog, I was drunk, and I wish I was again. I would have enjoyed the movie more, that's for sure.
Nothing better than Pocono's humor.
Pocono's right in the heart of the Borscht Belt.
Isn't it? I thought that's a whole same thing.
It's same thing. It kind of
Come
is.
on.
Oh, isn't it up there?
It's Catskills.
Yeah,
It's
giving me a hard time.
But you're in New York.
Have you been to the Catskills?
And
I grew up in the Catskills.
You grew up in the Catskills?
Yeah.
Yeah. In that whole valley, they have all these crazy Indian names. He was from Oneonta.
Yeah.
What was the name of your crazy county?
Otsego.
Near Oswego
And
Otsego.
Yes.
And I grew up in
Otscadella, because that takes Delaware, Otsego, and Schoharie counties, puts them together into the Otscadella region.
Ah, the tri-county.
Central leather-stocking area of upstate New York.
Wait a minute. Did you teach dancing one summer to a small girl played by Jennifer Grey?
Yes.
I did.
As a matter of fact,
Have you been to
did.
the Catskills, Vanessa?
I have not.
It is weird, right?
It is?
It's very moldy.
It's not charming?
Okay, so when Paul and I were working at a Renaissance fair, I didn't say Renaissance fair. Okay, I covered up my mouth as I said that. We lived in the Poconos, which is very similar. It's just a little south of this whole thing. And everything was very moldy. And the greatest thing ever is that it was the honeymoon capital of whatever. And
Niagara.
There's little fuck farms. I kid you not.
The little huts?
Yeah. Oh my God. You would go. We were like, oh, there's this, all these different resorts where people would get married and go to the Poconos for their honeymoon. And we thought, oh, it must be charming and wonderful resorts. No.
Creepy.
It's creepy. We went up to this one, and it's all like in the Bates Motel where you pull up to the room and the door, and they're just a string of those rooms.
Of windowless rooms.
Windowless
Champagne glass-shaped bathtubs.
Creepy.
I remember driving through because I had an uncle who grew up in the Catskills and they have a farm.
Creepy
and
or the greatest thing ever. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
that's true.
And the other thing that they have are just little huts, right? Like
some places are
right.
like
You'll
that.
go to like a campground, and there'll be this pool that's mostly green water, and a rickety fence around it, and then little fuck huts, like you said, like
We
little.
lived in those.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And we all had a roommate.
They put our theater company in one of those that wasn't being used anymore.
And it had a main house.
Vacation.
It was used for us.
It had a main
Good enough
house
for
in the
them.
middle, and then all around it were two these little huts, and they all had a front door and a little window, and then there were two bunks in there, and then we would share a room. And I'm such a dork that mine was the only one. I dug out in front of it, and I bought some little plants, and it had a little garden, and it had a little stone walkway, and everybody else's looked like shit.
You're putting too much effort into it.
I did not have that.
It's like the place in Vacation as well. This will be your place, Ananda.
Yes.
Now, speaking of times gone by, I want to go in the Wayback Machine here for the movie guys and ask you this question: if you could go back in time to any year, your favorite year in movies, where you would just get to watch all of the movies that year and consider yourself totally full, what year would that be?
I think we decided for me it was 84 last night, right? It was not Goonies. It was Gremlins and Breakin'. That was 84.
Those are the deal breakers for
Well,
you?
but here's why, and I want to explain
not
myself.
Amadeus?
No,
Okay.
because there was such a magical thing for me about going to the movies as a 10, 11-year-old boy that doesn't exist anymore, right? Because
You mean a 3-year-old?
yes, sorry, Hollywood. When I was 3,
Casting directors are listening.
in 1982, yeah, so. It was such a magical experience to do that back then. Not going to the movies right now for me, Grandpa Caius just cannot handle it anymore, right? So it's just a big.
Because now you're afraid you're going to get shot.
I'm going to get shot. There's going to be a kid in the aisle. Something's going to happen to the
Someone's going to
picture.
be watching their
Yeah,
phone.
I'm
You
gonna
have to yell at them.
Yeah, what? You're right. I never cared about any of that.
When
I
you're going
know,
to kid,
me
never
There was
thought
like
about
10
that.
years of my life where
Well,
I went to the
that's-
movies. I thoroughly enjoyed the experience.
That's
was
because
like,
people were courteous. That's because
Yeah.
people didn't have cell phones.
Yep.
It's because
You really felt like you were in this cocoon of safety, and
Yeah.
no one could get you for 2 hours. I'm protected.
Thank God, because I'm going to be like on Endor and
Yeah,
all this. You know,
that's
I got
right.
shit to do.
And
So-
it was also a movie was a special occasion.
Oh, it was
now
very
it's like,
special.
if we don't get there, we'll buy it on DVD.
And the other thing is, like I said the other night, is that the stuff you saw on the movie screen was stuff you could only see in the movies.
Yeah.
Now we're seeing that on TV. We're seeing it on our computers.
We're going to
seeing
see that in our car when our parents are driving on a little screen.
Yes, thank you for that.
Yeah.
kids.
So
Do you ever do that move, though?
So 84.
Come on, you do that move. You're in traffic and you pull up behind the SUV and you see a movie and you're trying to
I'm a movie guy.
name it. You're like, I'm going to name that movie.
If I don't name it real quick, I'm really disappointed in myself.
Yeah.
Plus, I'm busy passing that person most of the time.
So I'm going to jump right on here then onto his back because mine's 84 as well. And
I'm guessing not breaking in Gremlins.
no, it's a very strange. Well, it's a great reason and a strange reason. In 1984, I saw Ghostbusters, which greatest comedy ever, and I'm so thankful that was one of the first comedies I ever saw in a theater because it really was full of greatness and great actors and great acting and combining styles. There's so many things that
so
were
again,
wonderful
you were
about it.
4 at the time.
I was 4 years old, and I could appreciate the comedy that was happening. So not only was that happening, but I love Ghostbusters. I saw it 10 times in the theater, which was a big deal because I lived out in the country, and in order to go to the movie theater, you had to drive 45 minutes each way. I was way too young to drive, and the reason
you were driving.
Nonetheless, I got on the tractor and I drove. The reason I was seeing the movie so many times is for a really horrible reason. And I told Bill Murray this story, and he thought it was great. I was going to the nearest town where the hospital was because my dad had a massive heart attack, and he had a pacemaker put in. So I was just a little kid who was trying to deal with. He had died, and they brought him back to life. We were told he was dead. They brought him back to life. So now I'm at the hospital every day, and my mom, and we're just waiting, hoping the pacemaker will work. So you can't keep your kid at home because I was too young. So I would go to the hospital with her, and she'd be there with my brothers. And she'd say, here's some money, just take her to the movies. And I saw Ghostbusters over and over and over because it was the only thing that would make me forget about my dad.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a great story. And I remember when he told Bill Murray that.
Yeah, he even asked me.
Been cooler.
He was like, is your dad okay now? Back then he was okay now. Since then he's passed away. But Bill Murray is very cool. And I also have to say that was the same year as Footloose. Which, come on. I saw that in the theater. I saw that in the car, the drive-in. Oh.
One of the biggest soundtracks of all time. Like,
So
when
good.
that probably set the bar for like all the ones that would come, like Bodyguard and.
And when you realized, you went, "Oh, Kevin Bacon is really good. Wow, Laurie Singer is awful.
She was horrible.
bad.
When we saw that at the drive-in, because they would play movies at the theater, then later they'd play it in the drive-in, you could watch both. I remember my friends and we would get out and dance on the hood of the van. Everybody was dancing on the hood of the car. Yeah. It was fucking cool.
I would have been so grounded.
No, man, they were having a blast.
I got to jump a couple of years ahead and say, because I think all of us are picking years in our lifetime because it means so much to go and see these. I mean, we could say 1948 was so great, but 39 was amazing, right? Gone with the Wind and Wizard of Oz. I mean, you could probably go through and find a whole bunch of other movies that are fantastic.
Yeah.
But it was something about going and seeing all these movies. 87 for me.
That's a good one,
Which was what?
When I was 7.
I
I could go on. My third favorite film of all time, Broadcast News, came out that year.
There's no way, though, you were appreciating that at that time.
Oh, I
were you?
was.
Oh, he
Remember,
was.
he was ahead of its time.
Yeah.
Oh, I love Albert Brooks. He's my hero.
Again, you were
By
only
then, I had
7,
already
though.
appreciated Lost in America. Exactly. I am a smart kid. How dare you put baby in a corner? Didn't we talk about this? I'm from the Catskills.
That's right.
So, besides that, I mean, you got Lethal Weapon, one of the greatest action films of all time. The Princess Bride, a top 10 for
so
me.
many different styles that year.
Yeah, The Untouchables.
Yeah.
Raising Arizona. Moonstruck.
Yeah.
These were great films.
That's a great
Wall
film.
Street.
Broke up with a girl after watching Princess Bride because she didn't get it.
Good for you.
I have
The
two
right
of those
thing.
in my life. The two,
Smart boy.
I thought I was giving a high five there. Boy, I totally got hung out
There it
to
is.
dry there.
I was pointing at you, but
I
I
have
meant
two of
it.
those. Princess Bride, I ended it with Tracy Van Owen, and I said sayonara. She didn't get it. And then some years later, sorry, Kathy Macy, but we had to end it because Rushmore. She didn't get Rushmore.
Oh, see?
Hello, Kathy. Bill Murray's in it.
Yeah.
What's wrong?
That's all you need to
Special
know.
note for The Big Easy as well, one of the great underrated cop movies of all time
Great,
with
great film.
Dennis Quaid and Ellen Barkin and John Goodman.
Sexy movie
Dennis
too.
Quaid.
Totally
There's a lot of sexy movies that year.
Ellen Barkin,
Dennis
yeah.
Quaid.
Yeah.
My brother has his hand. What's the whole thing?
Johnny has
his hand.
I bake bread, and I sweat, and I shovel dough out of this stinking hole in the wall, and I should just be so happy, huh, sweetie? Nicolas Cage. Before he went nuts, man.
The Croods.
Killed it in Moonstruck.
And
Oh, my
was
God.
terrible in the
You
Croods.
come from my brother Johnny. Yeah. Johnny, Ronnie Camerari.
And so you, Vanessa?
All right.
Yes.
1986
Oh,
for me.
We're
there
all
you go.
80s,
She
and
was
all
just a
80s.
kid.
Few Good Men.
No, for me,
It's 92.
no. You guys are gonna. It's
How do I not know that?
there's a few of them. There's okay, 2 because it totally appealed to the girl in me, the girly like yay.
Yes.
Labyrinth and Pretty in Pink.
I knew it.
So good, so good,
Put Pretty in Pink.
so good. I know, right? Oh,
It just reached in and
good
hugged
so
me, my
beautiful.
soul.
Yeah,
It just did.
Oh,
It said, even though no one likes you, you're okay.
that's right. So good. And
Make a dress.
it
Make
was
a dress
also
and start smiling.
I did with my mom for prom. I did.
yeah. Oh, so gorgeous. And it also marked a year for 3 films that I saw that I felt like an adult. Well, one, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, because it was kind of like,
Great
you got to
movie.
see that? Oh, because some people didn't get to see it because it was a little adult. But the other 2, Platoon.
I still
saw
haven't seen that all the way through.
Oh God, broke my heart. But
my
I felt
favorite
like
film
a
of the year.
grown up. I was like, wow, I saw a grown up movie. And I saw it with my sister. Thank you, Shawnee, for taking me to see this. Aliens. Oh my God. And I had the only experience I had with Alien, because I was very young when that came out. Like the
Right.
alien coming through his tummy, John Hurt's tummy, and all that stuff. And you go, oh gosh, that's just terrifying. But Aliens, so I saw it, and I literally picked my feet up off the theater floor almost the entire film, because it was so intense and
And it wasn't in 3D.
no.
And Cameron,
Interesting.
James Cameron said, I'm going to show you the alien because he didn't see a whole lot of them in the first movie, and I'm going to show you the shit out of the alien.
That's
Here comes a ton of them. And then when Alien 3 came out, you didn't see the alien much. You're like, no, I'm sorry. I need what I saw from Aliens.
Just do you remember that when Ripley goes down looking for Newt and she sees the queen and she just goes blop with that egg and you're like and she's just standing there and she looks around and you're like, oh my God, she's surrounded. And then they all start to just open up and you're like, and then she just does the with the flamethrower. It's so
Good shit. That and The Fly came out.
The Fly.
And 20th Century Fox put out both those movies, and they would go out as a double feature after they had run for a
That's
while.
right.
So late in the summer, you could go see Aliens, The Fly double feature. That was a great double feature.
And it was just, I
With
mean,
Brundle
and we
Fly.
can go
People
on and on.
dancing
Stand,
on the tops
Stand
of
by
their
Me,
cars.
Top Gun,
Top Gun.
People, Blue Velvet,
Boy.
total cutting edge.
That is the
film.
only Tom Cruise movie I do not like.
Top Gun.
I know, and you are a Tom Cruise
I'm a
whore.
Top Gun.
It's a little much.
It's killing me.
Do you know what? I think I know what would help that 300 movie. If it started
Tom Cruise?
with all of them, yes. If they started all dressed like Tom Cruise in that movie, and then they took their clothes off.
That's right. They could all slide into a rock and roll song.
Think about it.
That would be hot.
Strip.
All right. Well, we have one more movie to get to. Before we hit it, a quick note about WBAD.net. We mentioned at the top of the show. You can listen to the Showcast and read our articles and reviews there. Since it's a growing internet radio station with 100,000 plus listeners every week, it's a great place to advertise.
Advertise.
And now's the time, as WBAD has great introductory rates. Just head to their website, click advertise, and fill out the form to get started. That's WBAD.net and use the promo code MOVIE for us, because you heard about them on the Movie Guys.
That's
and you
us,
can secure these great rates in March to get the word out about your business on a place where now it's an evolving market. Internet radio's getting hundreds of thousands of hits out there for WBAD.net alone. So have people see your stuff on there. You have your marching orders. Get out there and do it. But on to our final new release of the weekend of March 7th. Wes Anderson is back, though we're not really sure if he means it. See, he's ironic. The Grand Budapest Hotel.
New Bill Murray movie, new Bill Murray movie, new Bill Murray movie.
Get out your pastels. It's time for more Wes Anderson. In his latest film, Anderson takes us into a quirky world full of antique characters and settings full of eccentric artifacts. Sure, that's every Wes Anderson movie, but that's why I go.
There's only one way to get the feeling of being in Wes Anderson's magical world, and that's by going to a Wes Anderson movie. No other filmmaker really does that.
Yeah, sure, Wes Anderson is a bit of a one-trick pony, but when that trick is so charming and usually stars Bill Murray, who's complaining?
I want rail blocks at every train station for 100 kilometers.
Get in!
I wish Bill Murray would pull up in a car and just tell me to get in.
In what looks like Anderson's first animated film since Fantastic Mr. Fox, the Grand Budapest Hotel delivers everything we've come to expect from a Wes Anderson movie. Vintage costumes, stilted camera movement, and a mandolin soundtrack. There you go, with harpsichord. Heck, it even has people riding bicycles. I mean, come on, who puts that in their movie? People riding bikes. Genius.
Picking up where Moonrise Kingdom left off, and where the Royal Tenenbaums left off, and where the Life Aquatic left off, and where, of course, Rushmore left off, the Grand Budapest Hotel tells the story of a murder mystery as only Wes Anderson can tell it, with panning camera shots, the occasional rapid-fire dialogue exchange, and people wearing scarves.
Fiennes, Goldblum, Keitel, Balaban, Tom Wilkinson, Saoirse Ronan. This cast would get me out to a movie about the inventor of soup, but in a Wes Anderson movie, this is a Michael Jordan slam dunk.
With this cast, I wouldn't even have to tell you the plot, which is good because you can't make any sense of the plot, even with a trailer in slow-mo. Then again, what's the plot of the Royal Tenenbaums? Can anyone tell me?
No. And just when you think this movie has got to star Angelica Houston, it stars Tilda Swinton instead. Well, good enough.
Wes Anderson has clearly mastered the art of creating timeless movies. No, literally. With his eclectic costumes and set designs, it's pretty much impossible to look at a Wes Anderson film and know what year it was actually filmed for, or even takes place in. A man in a crushed velour tracksuit holding a wooden tennis racket, sending a fax as he stands next to a butter churn while talking on his cell phone. Now you tell me, was that 1986?
So we encourage you to check out the trailer, except it isn't at IMDb. True to quirkiness of Anderson, you can find 37 videos that aren't the trailer at IMDb, including 18 interviews, 6 clips from the film, a featurette, and 1 clip of B-roll.
We got that B-roll!
For the diehard Wes Anderson fans, these videos are a smorgasbord of delights. For the general movie-going public, it's a headache having to piece everything together.
I'm predicting there's a lot of Jason Schwartzman, a touch of Owen Wilson, and some Adrian Brody.
Doing...
They don't have to do anything. It's a Wes Anderson film.
Just show up and be Jason Schwartzman. Okay.
I just love how unashamed he is to just do the same thing over and over again. Which I'm glad. I'm happy. I'm just saying it's great that he doesn't feel the need to go do anything different.
You know, you nail it and you do it. You do it until it becomes popular, and then you just keep doing it until they make you stop.
Yeah,
because of legal reasons.
Yeah, he has a style, and it's beautiful and artistic and lovely. To me, it's like watching a painting.
It reminds me
or
of
a series of paintings. I love his stuff.
Like a flip book of paintings.
It reminds me of an interview I heard Quentin Tarantino give many, many years ago on Charlie Rose, where he did right after Pulp Fiction, and he said to Charlie, "Look, I know I'm a one-trick pony. I know this trick's going to get old, and people are going to stop wanting to see my movies." Nope. Wes Anderson never had that thought. Never.
I'm telling you, he started the entire movement of hipsters. Absolutely. Because if you look about it, Rushmore, it started then. People riding bicycles and wearing scarves and fuzzy velour. You know, they're stinky, those stinky sweaters, and once you get hot under the pit, you know.
Elbow patches on jackets.
Oh, yeah. All that.
Goldblum will have those.
Oh, yeah.
And how has he not been in a Wes Anderson movie before?
Oh, yes. He was in Life Aquatic.
Life Aquatic.
Was he?
Yeah, with
Wait,
the little red cap and everything.
I saw this movie several times.
He did. He hit a dog with a newspaper.
That's right. Okay.
That's what I remember.
Yeah.
We enjoy you, Wes Anderson.
I do like
We
Wes
will. We'll
Anderson.
be going to this. And the trailer was shot in 4:3, and it's not 16
Yeah,
by
you
9,
pointed
so it's a
that out the
square.
other day.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. The artist did that, too.
It's a picture.
Yeah, to try and show what it
It's-
was like way back in the day.
It's great because that sets another, hey, what time was this filmed in?
Right.
Yeah.
Wes Anderson's doing it just because.
Because, you know, this movie, when I was watching it, kind of reminded me of The Shining, only without less crazy and less blood. I was just thinking
you're right.
that.
No,
it does, doesn't
it's
it?
a big, creepy hotel
Yeah.
with, sort of a camera that's not moving around like Paul
Yeah.
Greengrass.
It's pretty great.
You know,
I
except it'll
smell a
be fun.
mashup coming.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's probably
Shining
not a bad
Match,
idea.
patent pending.
Pending.
Get out your editing software, Lee.
Yeah. Rub it in.
In theaters this Halloween
Oh, yes.
comes a new vision of horror like you've never seen before.
They nailed
From
this.
the twisted mind of Wes Anderson. It's the midnight coterie of sinister intruders.
The mandolin!
Owen Wilson as a man in danger.
Wow, what the heck? There's a bunch of crazy people standing in our yard. Hey, hon, I think we're about to get murdered.
They
And his
nailed
terrified
it.
wife, Gwyneth Paltrow.
Oh,
That's SNL, and they nail
Yeah.
it.
Good stuff.
they did. They nailed that.
I just love an Owen Wilson impersonation by Ed Norton. Wow.
Hey, wow.
Who did an impersonation the other day that we never thought should be done?
Oh, Jim Carrey doing Bruce Dern at the Oscars.
Gosh.
Who does Bruce Dern?
That's what it was.
Jim Carrey
We
does.
talked about it last week. If you can do someone nobody else does, then that's gold.
Not only did he do Bruce Dern, just nailed it.
His face. He can do that face thing.
That Dern gives you.
Doesn't look so good from this end, does it?
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
And I love too that he just called it out. He was like, it was intense, man. Just told him.
Listen, I want to get to Oscar talk too,
Yes.
speaking of which, but let's get to Vanessa talk first
Yes.
real quick, because I ask this of everybody on the show. Vanessa, what is your favorite movie of all time?
E.T.
Oh,
Really?
we
The
haven't had.
extraterrestrial.
We have not had that.
We've had close to
not.
40 shows, haven't had an E.T. yet.
Vanessa, let me ask you: when you were a kid, did you have the plastic ET finger that went on your finger and had a little ball? in it?
Whoa! What?
I had that.
That was a thing?
I
used
had
to
that,
light
but
up.
guess what? I never saw the movie. My parents got me the toy, but never took me to the movie.
I took
Did
you
they
to
have
the
to
movie.
explain to you what it was?
I took you to the movie in your 20s.
Yeah, I'm telling my parents did that move all the time.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Yeah, I did not have the little finger that turned
it's
on.
too bad.
But it was. I remember it very specifically. We went to Oklahoma that summer, and we in the afternoon we went and saw, or I guess the evening we went and saw E.T., and it was amazing. I absolutely fell in love with Henry Thomas. I wrote to him. I wrote him a little fan letter, and he sent me a little autograph picture back, and was like, "Hey, Vanessa, thanks so much for your letter. I really
personalized.
appreciate it." Yeah.
Oh, because I did it.
And I have no idea where it is, of course. Oh my God, you guys! It's one of those things you go, oh, where is that? What?
I did that all over the place when I was young. And, like Dan Aykroyd sent a specific one back. But then, like, Sigourney Weaver, because I wanted everybody in Ghostbusters. I wanted to give them to Karen. So Sigourney Weaver sent one back and with this letter, like, save the gorillas. I'm like, you didn't read anything.
Save the gorillas?
But what was cool is Dan Aykroyd had moved on at that point to some other movies. I think it was early 90s. And so he went into the stash of Ghostbuster pictures and found one and said, "We're ready to believe you," and he signed it.
Oh.
Yeah, that's someone paying
see.
attention, right?
There you go.
Steve Martin sent one with the standard comedy. It said, "Hey, Steve here." Something like, "Do you think I have time to sign every one of these?" Hell no, I'm busy shopping for those less fortunate and attending movie premieres. The whole big thing was hilarious. It's
Yeah.
like, that's the best.
Yeah, it was. But it
But good
was,
for Henry Thomas for personalizing and when he was at his peak.
Yeah,
of
just
fame.
like a little, and it was like one sentence, but it was just very dear, and yeah, I absolutely loved it, and remembered that I thought it was ripped off. That I don't know if like Chariots of Fire or Gandhi or something won, and I thought, oh, it should have
Terms
been
of
E.T.
endearment. No, wait, no,
something Gandhi, I
Yeah,
think.
82.
Anyway, but
That
yeah,
might have been, I think it was Gandhi. You're right.
but
Yeah.
but I remember thinking, of course, when you're a kid.
Oh, I was right before you, the year before that, when Chariots of Fire beat Raiders.
Yes, exactly.
These epics
exactly.
are winning, and these better movies that you're going to be talking about much longer.
Yeah, but it was, I loved it. I loved it. I still love it to this day, unchanged, with the guns, not the walkie-talkies.
Yeah. Right. Now, Vanessa, I'm sure Paul's going to work into this, but did that begin your love of puppetry?
No. I loved puppetry before that because,
okay.
because of like Sesame Street and stuff like that a lot of us grew up with. And then the Muppet Show was on, and that
love
the Muppet Show made me just, that's one of the first movies I remember seeing as a kid, the Muppet movie, the original one.
God, such a good movie.
Where like I remember sitting there as a kid, where you see a movie that that you go, oh, that was really great, but there's something that changes you about it, and at the end of that, when Kermit looks right into the camera and says, "Life's like a movie, write your own ending, keep believing, keep pretending," and I just was like,
I will do what you say. And she just drank the Kool-Aid, and she's been doing it ever since.
I'm going to go out on a limb here, Vanessa.
It's fantastic.
Because I think you and I shared a very similar experience when watching the Muppet movie. Because I, too, a lot of people, even in this room, probably don't know that I have a deep affinity for puppetry. And it was the scene where Kermit was riding the bike. right?
Yeah. And
Because
you
those
just go,
legs were freaking hilarious.
How do you do that? And it's magical.
That's all I remember of that movie is him riding with like 6-foot-long legs.
It's not a guy. It's not a guy in a green screen.
Nope.
No.
A suit.
It was
a
Kermit
green
the
suit
Frog.
or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Riding along and, and then him coming up and going, "Hi, I'm Doc Hopper." It's just.
But you wrote your own movie.
Yeah.
Segue into that, Paul.
What?
Her job now. She's going to be going on tour with the Jim Henson Puppet Up, the Jim Henson Company, the same people that made the Muppet movie.
Yeah, she just played at the Kirk Douglas Theater with Puppet Up. If you don't know what Puppet Up is, please tell us.
Yeah. It's called Puppet Up, Uncensored. It is for adults only.
It does sound dirty already.
It is so good.
It is.
Is it puppets humping?
Oh yeah, they do everything. They're dirty. I saw her puppet go down on somebody when I was there.
Puppet down?
But it depends on the audience suggestions. That's the thing. Some audiences are a little less dirty than others, but it is mostly improvised. There are a few performances that are rehearsed because we pay tribute to Jim Henson and Jane Henson, who started doing puppets, puppetry on TV, and Frank Oz, back in the day when they were like 20. Frank Oz started when he was like 16, 17, 18. He, studied with Jim Henson, but it's incredible to know that history, to love it as a kid, and then when you get to be an adult, have Patrick Bristow and Brian Henson create this show where it's improvised puppetry. So you can watch the puppets up on the screens, so you feel like a child going, "Oh my God, there's the puppets," or you can watch the puppeteers down here on the stage.
We saw this with you before you got involved, and my eyes did both. That's a cool part. You're going back and forth just checking it out. It's very, very cool.
I just like the fact that you were able to see something as a little kid and go, "I want to do that," and now you're going to do it. I think that's great. That's so fucking awesome.
Where do people find out
amazing.
about the puppet? Is there a website or something?
Yep, puppetup.com.
There you go.
Yeah.
And you're going to be touring to about 5 or 6 different places?
Yeah. I'm going to be in the United States. We'll go to Park City, Utah, then Monhall, Pennsylvania, then Kalamazoo, Michigan, Springfield, Ohio, and Madison, Wisconsin.
Are any of your family members going to get to see you?
I don't know. I've put it out there
Park
and
City,
let people
yeah,
know.
Park
City.
Friends, I've had friends from way back say, "Hey, we're going to come and see you in this Saturday."
That's the great thing about touring is then you can go to the towns that your friends haven't left and then come see your work. Anyway, just saying.
All right, well, let's talk about some of the best movies of this year, because
it's the most wonderful time of the year.
Or it's just ending, I should say. Award season is my favorite time of the year. Tons of free movies, tons of great movies. Sadly, they stack them at the end of the year. I'd love great movies all year, but that doesn't always happen. But let's talk about our thoughts, round table here. Just kind of open your ideas on Oscar. Now, I'll start actually by saying I thought you couldn't have gone too wrong because I love the nominees. I made my top 10 of the year, and I was only about 1 or 2 movies different from their 9 nominees. Of course, I had a 10th, but I would have thrown Rush in there. I thought that was a great
absolutely
undervalued Ron Howard movie.
Yep.
And I would have put
Captain Phillips,
August Osage County in there.
Yes.
Well, I would have given it to Captain Phillips, but
So many
but either
more.
way, from all those nominees, it was going to go to something good. So I was happy even when it started.
I like the host. I thought that Ellen did a really good job this year. I like that it moved along, too. There weren't a lot of carrying on.
Yeah, I remember from last time she hosted, the bits out in the audience were okay, but her monologue killed.
Did you know the pizza boy was a real pizza boy and he got a $1,000 tip?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. And that's good pizza if you are thinking it's just a bit.
Mamas and
Big
Papas.
Mamas and Big Papas.
Big Mamas
It's
and Big
good
Papas
pizza.
in Hollywood.
But did you know this? For those of you who have the internet at home, you might know this. But the Samsung, the whole selfie was a bit.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That was a plant by Samsung.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And
Why you got to come bring the
Well, I'm changing my
Well, it
profile
was-
picture now.
It
so
was
I'm
something
old.
that they.
Now I
she
feel
had thought,
manipulated.
She had thought, wouldn't this be fun?
No, there was an agreement. Samsung had an agreement
That
with the
there were certain
Oscars that
people.
said that said they will get mentioned and the phone will be featured at one point during the night, and Ellen will figure out how to do it. It was unscripted.
clever.
It was unscripted
Okay, that's not
in that
bad.
regard, but it was still not an accident.
Well, and Jared,
I'm sure she planned on
But,
doing this.
I mean,
Totally.
hell, that's just like Hershey's saying, play our commercial. It's the same difference. It's just more creative the way she did it.
I appreciate it.
Yeah,
And
that's good.
She didn't say, "Let me take a picture with my Samsung Galaxy
Yeah.
S4."
The score starts coming in.
Well, I like her even more now. I
Yeah.
thought she did a great job. I love that the American viewing public can come together to watch a lesbian on TV.
there you go.
But
John
when she-
Travolta is not a woman.
Depends on the hair he's got.
Okay.
Speaking of lesbians, only lipstick lesbian, Jared Leto, he was not supposed to be in that little bit. By the way, he came over for the selfie. He like ran across the
That's
thing.
awesome.
And he realized, like when he was getting in there, he was like, oh, all of these guys are kind of in on it. But he was like, oh, screw it, I'll get in there anyway.
Good for him.
I saw a shot from the
because
balcony,
he was just excited.
which showed Liza Minnelli like about 2 rows behind, still getting up there to want to be in it. But they took a picture
Wanted
already.
to be in it.
She and her sister should have sung her mother's song, or Bette Midler should have sung it. I don't know what was going on there.
Oh, I liked Pink. I thought
Over
she
the
did.
Rainbow.
Pink, here killed me. She was breathing in the middle of words.
Oh yeah, that.
All right, you don't
Phrasing.
say her phrasing was crazy.
Yeah,
It was,
a little bit.
I saw stuff online, and my friend Kyle Puccia, he definitely nailed it. He said his friends in New York were having a problem with the fact that she was taking breaths in between words, and her phrasing was horrible, and her diphthongs were all over the place. And all of his friends out here are like, "She nailed it. She's so awesome."
I like that they got her to do it. I like that she did it. She sounded great, but yeah, I had the same problem
Weird.
phrasing. I was like, oh, honey.
The problem is that song, the recorded version of that song by Judy Garland is just so in your head. It's
Yeah,
like
it's so
you got to
iconic.
kind of do that.
Well, you also
couldn't do
have to
that.
just say a word. If you're going to say somewhere over the rainbow, you would probably go somewhere over the rainbow. See how I didn't breathe? But she said somewhere over the rainbow. No one talks like that.
Well,
Yeah, it's,
Anyway.
phrasing is an undervalued thing because you don't often see it when it's done well, right?
You shouldn't see it.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
should sound like talking.
like a toupee, Travolta. Good ones you can't tell.
I predicted.
That's right. And you know what? Wait, I have to say,
Yes.
both phrasing and toupees were perfected by Frank Sinatra. I just have to say it, both of them.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, I could not tell
Your
he was wearing a piece.
history tip with Vanessa Whitney.
Thank you.
I would like to say prediction wise, if you read the Oscar rant on the movieguys.net that I
Yeah.
put
So
out
great.
to the world, I predicted. Now I didn't do documentaries and short films so much this year, but of the major categories, I only got 2 wrong. I thought Captain Phillips would win Best Editing. It did not.
I thought it would too.
Yeah, and then I thought Bad Grandpa would win Best Makeup.
That
because,
makeup was great.
Because, like I said in last week's show, the whole idea that you have to do good makeup for the film and for the people who are 2 feet away, and I thought that was a double win for the movie.
That's a very good point.
But finding out Dallas Buyers Club, because Vanessa and I went to a thing over the weekend where it was an interview and Q&A with the makeup nominees, and to find out they had $250 to do all the makeup for the whole production of Dallas Buyers Club for 23 days of shooting. Yeah. I mean, they did a great job.
How do you not have more than what?
Yes,
it's your whole plan about the best movies they just don't want to make.
Well, yeah. So if you notice, all the stories behind all the best movie nominations was nobody wanted to make this movie. Nobody wanted this movie. It took 12 years. Nobody wanted to make.
Because they all
every
wanted
one
to
of
make
them.
the Croods. That's why.
Is that what it was?
Probably.
Well, so if I'm ever thinking about making a movie and I want it to win an Oscar, I'm going to find the one nobody wants to make.
Right.
Does anybody want to make this movie? No. Sign me up.
Just
That's
think,
going to win.
I mean, whenever the movies that have won in the past of movies, like the silent movie a couple years ago, Life is
The Artist.
The Artist.
The Artist,
Life
yeah.
is Beautiful.
Mm.
Nobody wanted to make those movies.
Nobody wants to make them, and nobody believes in them. That's the magic formula.
That's the
Then they
story
win.
of our lives.
They've been trying to make Solomon Northup's story for 19 years, I think, right?
Oh, who wants to make that
Picture?
crap?
No, it was 12 Years a Slave, dummy.
Well, I thought it was about the industrial giant Northrop Grumman, who the defense contractor. No, okay.
No, not even close.
I see now, and I thought Lone Ranger would take best makeup because all of the amazing like
From
the
sweaty,
freak
sloppy-
carnival and but all of his Tonto's Johnny Depp's makeup.
I did that makeup for Halloween.
And the prosthetics.
You did well.
You did.
Thank
It was
you.
beautiful.
Yeah, this is true. They did the opposite of what they do for costumes. Most of the time, your fancy costumes win. For makeup, they didn't say fancy. They said, we pared down just the stuff that looked real.
A couple of lesions.
They awarded.
Right.
I think Lone Ranger didn't win because it's probably the first time in movie history where the movie was just so amazingly bad it couldn't overcome, right? I mean, that you couldn't even let him win that costuming because the movie just stunk that bad. So, Paul, I do have a question about the Movie Guys rant,
Yes.
Oscar rant. Do you predict what you think will win and then what you want to win?
I do both. I do will and should.
Somebody
So you
didn't read the rant.
Well,
no, because here's the thing. I never pride
because
myself.
It's 12 pages long.
I never pride myself on
good,
being
though.
a predictor, though. I know I'm never really all that good at it. This year was pretty predictable, though. So I'm not like even really tooting my horn much because these were kind of predictable.
Well,
and it made for kind of a lackluster awards presentation, as well.
But a lot of great films this year. So
Great
many.
film, all great.
And
Like
great
I said,
acting.
yeah.
I loved Bill Murray shouting out to Harold Ramis.
Oh, yeah.
That was fantastic.
That really was. And
it-
subtle.
And subtle and charming because there's so much story about the fact that he and Harold had a falling out, and to think that he was the one who did that was very cool.
Yeah.
I did not know that they had a falling out.
After Groundhog Day, they had a falling out. The story that I heard is that Bill was going through a divorce at the time and was behaving poorly on the set, and Harold Ramis said, I talk to my children when they behave like this, and I tell them to use their words and not throw tantrums. And Bill did not want any part of that, and that was it.
Pick up your pail and shovel and find another sandbox to play in. All right.
But apparently they worked that out later.
Oh, okay.
Before he passed.
So I agree with Best Actor. I don't know about Best Actress. I really thought Meryl Streep would have won that one.
Me too. Oh, she was fantastic.
And supporting actress, I really, really, really both wanted and thought June Squibb should have won.
She was great.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
I did a tie in my
Oh my
personal
gosh.
pick for her and Sally Hawkins. Sally Hawkins breaks your heart in Blue Jasmine.
And Blue Jasmine, she's great.
But June Squibb is great. Yeah. She's steals every scene she's in. I mean, that's something she said for that.
We all know that if you've lived back east, you know that woman, and she nails it.
Oh, yeah.
She
right?
nails that.
Every year
That's everyone's neighbor.
Every year, the
It
best
is.
supporting actor category is jam-packed. Like, even this year, there's 2 or 3 people you could put in there. It's always overflowing. But this year, best supporting actress seemed to be overflowing, which was kind of cool. You know, anyone
Julia
could have won that
Roberts
award.
was great for
She was
Julia
great.
Roberts, you know.
For anybody.
For
She-
the best supporting actor, I honestly didn't think Jared Leto's performance was all that transcendent. I thought Jonah Hill did a much better job at being somebody different.
Well, what was interesting about the Q&A we went to is they showed clips from Dallas Buyers Club, and they broke my heart. I was like, wow, is this... Wait, I saw this, right? Because I saw Dallas Buyers Club, and I thought that was a good movie. But I saw the clips, and I went, wow, these are really affecting me. Maybe I should go and see it again. Maybe it requires a second viewing.
I think
Check
it
it out
might.
again.
To have a deeper...
But I can't watch 12 Years a Slave again just because that
So
is
hard.
too hard the first time.
I'm not going to see it.
I
I'm
can't.
not going to see it at all.
It's really
great,
great, but it's really hard to watch. And Lupita Nyong'o's
Fantastic.
Yeah, see?
Fantastic.
She won the award? Great.
Yep.
And he won that
I
category.
can't
Great.
watch it again. They're not going to get a lot of DVD sales on that one, I don't think. Nobody's going
Who
to
wants
say,
to own
I
that,
need
right?
to own that.
Hey, if you want to see it, though, go
Hey,
to the
pop that
theaters.
in. Hey, pop that in.
They're giving it a bump in the theaters. They're putting it in more screens because it
That's
won Best
right.
Picture. So go out to the theater and see
Because
that
they
one.
know no one's going to buy it.
It's not a pop-in.
No
one
you're
pops
not-
in 12 Years a Slave.
You're not getting done with the Thanksgiving turkey, sitting down with Grandpa and saying,
Right.
let's put in a flick.
Hey, what do you want to put in? Let's pop that in.
It'll be people who are, cinephiles, but also people who are, but people who want to know that historically.
People who have
and
sex
teach
with
that.
children? What are you saying?
No, teach that. Yes.
Disgusting.
Cinephiles.
Yes.
No, I heard her.
movies
I heard it the
and-
first time, Paul. It's disgusting.
Hey, let's talk about a little something that we
Yes.
did. When
I think Jared Leto did deserve it, by the way. He was fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I would have given it to Barkat Abdi,
Oh,
who apparently just got cast in another movie, which is great.
Good. Oh,
Did
Did that go
for him.
through? He's a Kenyan marathon runner?
he is the
Yeah, I
actor
think
now.
so. Yeah, I think that's the one that's they're
Shut
supposed
up.
to do.
Oh, he'll be great.
Yeah.
All right, good.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that guy keeps working. 'cause
He's
really
super
good.
skinny, and he won an award. Or, he didn't win, did he? No.
Well, he lost
was
a lot of weight
nominated.
for the role.
That
I heard.
never happens in Hollywood.
Right?
Super skinny people
Well,
winning anything.
Here's what I was going to say. So he's out of nowhere, super skinny, tall guy who wins an award. And then we got the other chick who was super giant. And didn't she actually win the Precious chick? Out of nowhere?
Monique won.
Gabri
Not Gabri
Sidibe.
Sidibe. She didn't win.
Oh.
She didn't win.
She did not win.
But I want her to
Monique,
continue.
also big, won.
I want her to continue her career too. I'm just saying these are unknowns that come in and gangbusters, get nominated, and keep working.
Yep, she was on Big C there.
Yeah, I loved her on that.
So she's still
Good for
going.
her.
But let's talk about a little segment we had on here when Philip Seymour Hoffman passed away.
Oh.
We were all crushed. One of the great actors that we had going.
Yeah.
But when we looked at his resume, we were always surprised at all the great movies he was in, and it reminded us,
That's right.
he's in that.
Oh, that's right.
So I would like to play That's Right with the in memoriam sequence of the Oscars, but we're going to switch it up a little and call it Is That Right?
Oh, is that right?
Oh, is that
Is
right?
that right?
A little
Okay.
melancholy.
Oh, that guy died.
Oh, is that right?
Right?
Okay.
For example, I think we know that Philip Seymour Hoffman passed away, James Gandolfini and Paul Walker. Sid Caesar also passed away, and Harold Ramis.
Yeah.
Hal Needham.
Is that right?
Is that right?
I would say who?
Hal Needham?
Am I playing the wrong game? I'm playing the who?
Joan Fontaine.
Again.
Joan Fontaine, is that right?
Is that right?
Is that the voiceover artist?
Is that right?
I don't know who this
That's
is.
June Foray.
Thank you.
Joan Fontaine.
John Fontaine.
Peter O'Toole passed away.
Is that right?
I knew that.
Peter O'Toole, is that right?
right?
Is that
Is that right?
know
that is,
that.
oh my God.
Maximilian Schell.
Is that
that
right?
right?
Is that right?
Is that right?
Who?
He died?
Yeah.
Again,
Michelle.
that's a who.
Tom Laughlin.
Oh, is that
Is
right?
that right?
I'm going with who again.
actor.
I'm going with who on this one.
He's a director, yeah?
Is that
He
my
played
acting
Billy
teacher
Jack.
from
No,
college?
he's not our acting
Oh,
teacher
is
from
I
college.
swear to
They're the
God,
same
that's
name.
Tom Laughlin.
Is that
All right.
Wow.
Is that right?
And Esther Williams.
Oh,
Is that right?
Is that right?
Is that right? Oh, that's
Too bad.
Neptune's daughter. So great.
But here's who they forgot. Dennis Farina.
No.
Oh, that is right. That's right. they
His
forgot
mustache
him.
alone should have
That's
had.
wrong. They forgot him.
That's wrong.
Well, I mean, they forgot him, but it's wrong that they did.
That's
But
very
there's
wrong.
a bigger one.
No Jonathan Winters?
Yes.
Is that no? Wait, is that right? Did
That's
he
right.
die?
It's right.
Yeah.
I
And
thought-
they didn't put him in the
That's right.
montage.
Oh my
You
God.
get a
Is
shot of
that
him
right?
destroying the gas station from Mad World. That would have made my night.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I wonder sometimes if like they contact families and they say, "Can we put your
maybe they
family
say
member?"
no.
And they
No,
say,
they don't.
Thank
They don't
you.
have to do that.
Oh, legal.
Is that
He
right?
knows.
They don't have- no.
He knows about this.
Sta-
stuff.
no,
Getting
it's public
clearance.
domain, statement of fact. And it's editorializing. You don't need permission.
This guy. Yeah.
Is that
right?
right?
Is that right?
right?
Yes. Wow.
All right, that's enough of that.
That's right.
Let's veer from that into a quick lightning round of...
What did you see this week?
Before I knew what I was getting into with the Oscars, I wanted to make sure I saw everything. So last weekend I saw Inside Llewyn Davis, just to cross that off the list, to make sure that it, hey, this wasn't nominated, but was it good enough? And I can see where it's a really good film. Didn't appeal to me as much as the other nominees. So I love the Coen brothers.
A little slow.
Yeah, man, they were just like deeply thematic about like this guy's his life falling apart and his partner killing himself. It was just kind of a story of a guy just being real depressed about all that.
Spoiler alert.
It happens at the beginning.
I don't need to see
Come
it.
on, Lee.
It's like the beginning.
Jeez.
So anyway, but I wish it was more satisfying. But I certainly would have nominated you name it in here over that. But Her, Nebraska. So Philomena. Oh my God, Philomena's so great. But that's what I saw.
Why does Her look like it was made by our boyfriend here who did Budapest Hotel? He should have
Spike
done
Jonze.
that. Well, no.
And Wes Anderson. They're very similar.
Very similar, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they're very magical, very
Yeah, they want their movies
dreamy
to be
world.
in another world.
Dreamy. Mm-hmm.
Wes Anderson has Wes Anderson Land. Mm-hmm. Spike Jonze somehow has movies that take place in completely different places.
Where the wild things are.
While Wild Things Are is a whole different place than being John Malkovich, yet they all kind of live in Spike Jonze world.
Okay.
I don't know how he does it.
Yeah.
But
And, he also directed Beastie Boys.
Sabotage.
That's right.
Yeah.
So that's a
Adam
different
Yauch
world.
got a little shout out in the credits of Her.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. The great Adam Yauch. So what else anybody see?
I saw. I'm going to briefly talk about two things. I saw Gravity, and I just didn't think the Sandra was. I mean, she was good. It's just all here. It's all head acting, right? And when you see the making of the movie, she's just kind of like superimposed inside the suit and all that. So I enjoyed it. I thought
As
it
we
was really
discussed earlier, it's so easy to act when there's no one to act with.
yeah, exactly. It's all about yourself. You're just
Who are
Sandra Bullock.
you? It's impossible to act. Have you ever been in space? What are you pulling on? You're silly.
All I just thought is that they just like put her head in the suit. Anyway, but
Her head had to be in the right place at the right time. You're not just she's not just eating a sandwich and then like, oh yeah, stick that in there.
Well, she's eating the sandwich at home. They're shooting her at home, right? She's not going to a set or anything. It's like an animated movie. No, I liked the movie. I thought it was really good. I won't get into my whole primordial ooze scene at the end where she's literally crawling out of the thing and birthing.
You were right.
Not just birthed. Not just birthing, but she's like evolution of man is happening right there. But the other thing I want to talk about real quickly is I saw Departed on not TBS, so I'm not doing a TBS movie review.
Okay.
I'm doing the Bravo movie review.
Oh, all right.
Because we need to talk about an issue that Bravo is encountering. They have movies that they show, and then they put commercials in their movies.
Oh, okay.
But their commercials are almost always the ASPCA dog dying commercial.
They're hard to watch.
They're not, Vanessa, not only they're hard to watch.
They're long, too.
They're 10 minutes long.
Oh, and you never know when to flip back.
You don't know when to go back. So here's what happened. So I'm watching The Departed, and it's a hard transition from Leonardo DiCaprio to dead dog in cage. It's just poor dog in cage. So in the arms. So I don't even see it coming. So I don't have any chance to right. So I'm at least getting that much. Yeah. But like Karen said, it goes on for 10 minutes.
You flip around.
So I flip around, and then I forget what movie I'm watching. Right, and I'm like, oh, I want to go back to Departed 20 minutes later, which means I get 5 more minutes of Departed, and then back into Dead Dog again. That's right. Oh, it's murder.
Shaky terrier in a cage.
Shaky terrier. Yes.
Oh, it's so sad.
And you also explained to us that they've now, because I can't watch a movie on regular television. I can't. I don't have cable anyway for a year and a half, but I can't do it because of the way they chop them up, not just for commercials, but you said now they're not even bleeping out words. They just take them out.
It's just silence.
So silence.
Yeah, silence.
Yeah,
so weird.
We talked about there were
weird.
three ways to edit language for movies on television. One is to replace it.
Right.
Mother Scratcher. The other one, the oldest one, I think. Does everyone remember literally bleeping it?
Yeah.
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 Hear this. And
Which
then,
is great. I like that one.
That's right.
And then they went to Mother Scratcher, and now it's just it's just silence.
Yeah.
So
they did it on the Oscars, Paul was saying, during the 12 Years a Slave clip.
Yeah.
Yeah. They
didn't want to say the N-word, so they...
Yeah.
Could you not find another clip?
And that's true.
Maybe not. They dropped that word a lot in that movie.
Well, this isn't Django. I'm pretty sure I could find 6 seconds of...
And when it's television, they also cut away to some weird chandelier shot. Because they don't want you to be able to read their lips. Oh. Which is ridiculous. It's the dumbest thing ever. It's a bunch of bull...
Beep. Beep.
Are you familiar with the pan and scan? Does everyone know what the pan and scan? Do you remember the pan and scan?
Oh, yeah.
When they couldn't fit the whole film image on the TV and they would literally move.
They didn't want to letterbox it. Because God forbid you think, I'm not getting the whole movie.
Yeah.
But you're not getting the whole movie when they cut it off on the sides. Oh, yeah. Made me nuts.
That's right.
So that's what I saw this week.
Got anything, Vanessa, real quick?
I saw Only When I Laugh. Old school,
I've never seen
Oh,
that.
God. Christy McNichol and Marsha Mason.
Oh, that was Walter Matthau.
And it's
Neil Simon.
It's about an alcoholic mother and her teenage daughter. Kind of she's like trying to clean up her life, and her teenage daughter is decides
Vanessa,
to go live with her dad.
Home watching Bravo?
No, but I nanny sometimes,
and the kid's sleeping, and you're like, "What's on the TV?"
And then all of a sudden, in the eyes,
Twitchy Terrier.
A lot of those 70s movies I haven't seen. I haven't seen that. I haven't seen
anything with Marsha Mason is going to be a heartbreaker. You're going to be crying at the end. It's
Same time next year. Never saw that.
Oh God, so good. Alan Alda and Ellen Burstyn. You must see that.
I know. But let's get on to the going out big like we like to do.
Yeah, it's big.
With Karen's birthdays, celebrating the birthdays of those who make the movies. Karen.
All right, let's start off the week of wishing a birthday to the lovely and talented Catherine O'Hara, who turned 60 but can play anywhere from live action to animated. She first came on the scene in the Second City TV show SCTV and soon made a name for herself starring in a string of Christopher Guest mockumentary films. Guys, can you name a couple?
Mighty Wind?
Yes.
For your consideration.
Waiting for Guffman?
Best in Show.
Very nice, all four.
There you go.
There are so many wonderful things to say about Miss Catherine O'Hara. Here are just a few. She was a close friend to the late, great John Candy and gave a tearful eulogy at his funeral. Her acting mentor was Gilda Radner.
Oh, wow.
And Paul, you're going to love this. She wrote SCTV's 1976 sketch, High Q.
Did she?
That's the
She
best.
wrote that. That is tears.
I wish I had a clip. That's
Love
so
you,
funny.
Catherine O'Hara. Love you.
I
That
was
makes her-
so proud of her.
It makes her like younger than all the rest of the guys, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I think so.
I mean, your Bill Murray's. I know that's not Canada, but Bill Murray and those guys are like in
She's
their late
60.
60s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she was, here's the thing I love most about her. She was super cool when Paul and I met her at Target.
This is true.
What Target did you meet her at?
It was the West Hollywood Target.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I'm talking dead parents all day today, but my mom had cancer, and so I went back to be with her for the last couple of weeks and stuff. And
Should this real music really be?
this is the music part should go down. But Paul had bought me all the SCTV shows, all of them. And so when I was sitting there with my mom, she had a very short attention span, but we could watch SCTV because it's a bunch of sketches. And she loved the humor, and we had a blast. So we just kept watching all of these back to back to back. So I saw all these sketches. And so then that whole thing happened with my mom. I came back here. We were at the Target. It was within like a week of being home with my mom and letting her go. And I'm at the Target and I see Catherine O'Hara, and Paul's like, "That's Catherine O'Hara." And I just kind of handed Paul what I was carrying, and I just walked over to her. I didn't think twice, and I just looked and said, "Catherine O'Hara, thank you for making me laugh." And I told her the story about being with my mom. And before I knew it, she's hugging me. We're crying. Her sister's crying. Paul's just standing there going, "I hope this is okay. I hope this is okay." And she was fucking awesome.
There's an interesting
Great
footnote to
lady.
that story where
Yeah, there we go.
where Catherine O'Hara runs into Bill Murray at a party, and they swap stories about you.
They're like, "This girl's losing her parents," all dramatic.
I think that's crazy. Yeah, my father.
Plus, she was fantastic.
Wait a
in
minute, she told me it was
Beetlejuice, too.
Ghostbusters. She told me it was SCT. No, two different parents.
Two different
Oh,
parents.
okay,
She had
okay.
two parents. Okay.
So great.
But let's be fun again and say a happy birthday to someone I really wish I'd run into at Target as well, is the great Daniel Craig,
Ooh, dreamy.
Hey now.
who turns 46 but can play anywhere from business casual to black tie required. We all know Daniel Craig from his work as James Bond and The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo and other movies I haven't seen. But did you know that he turned down a really famous role in one of Adam's favorite movies? Anybody?
Yes, he was Wolverine.
No.
Oh, no.
Good guess though.
He turned down Thor.
Ah.
Yes, they
I
asked
do
him to
not
do
see
it.
Thank
it.
goodness.
Do not see it.
Yeah.
Thank
Isn't that
goodness.
strange? I
Yeah.
thought that was strange too.
He's a little too mannered for Thor.
Right? He just seems too completely
for
perfect
Bond.
and
He's
sexy and together.
Perfect
And,
Yeah,
for Bond.
he's too,
Yeah, too mannered.
Yeah.
yeah, you need to be more Ren Fair to play that part.
Very,
Yes.
yes. You're
Chris
Just like
Hemsworth.
Chris
Red
Hemsworth.
fair
Wow.
head.
Now, when I found out that he had turned down Thor and it went to Chris Hemsworth, it made me think to myself, Vanessa, I said, I wonder if Daniel Craig has ever been naked in a movie. So I immediately did some research. I found out that in the 2000 film Some Voices, he is completely naked. Go online and look. There's a scene where he's in a bunch of garbage. It's
Hooray.
fantastic.
Hooray. He's naked in Bond, too.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes,
more or less.
that's true.
Yeah.
Like junk naked?
Oh, in this movie,
Yeah.
junk naked.
Oh, wow.
Everything. Yeah. So I have put that at the top
Paul
of
is
my...
completely unimpressed, by the way.
Oh, if you'd seen this, you'd be impressed. I added it to my list of movies to watch. And if Paul, if you and Lee would like to look like Daniel Craig, all you have to do is go to www.menshealth.com/fitness/Daniel Craig workout, and they give you his entire week-long workout regimen. And fellas, the secret is jumping jacks.
I doubt that.
That's what he says, jumping
Wow.
jacks. Just do jumping jacks.
Naked?
And he has naked. And you will look like Daniel Craig.
Wow.
Done and done.
You know, yeah, we were talking about Herschel Walker, I think, recently, right? That all
Yeah.
he ever did were push-ups and sit-ups, and he looked like Herschel Walker.
Herschel Walker.
I don't know what you got to do. I feel
How
like
many
I do
push-ups do
shit.
you have to do to be black?
I don't know. It doesn't hurt that you can just sit back on 007 residuals and work out all day.
I'm telling you.
And now, Lee, that you're back, you can
Yes.
attest to how much you know that I love hearing famous people sing.
People ask me all the time, can you tell me two things about Karen?
Yes.
And I say, well, the first thing is she's gorgeous. Secondly, she loves hearing famous people talk or sing.
That's right.
You got those in the right order.
That's all right. Thank you. I especially like hearing it if they're celebrating a birthday. So let's finish up our birthdays by listening to a lovely song stylings of Daniel Craig singing Gold Mines in the Sky from the movie Infamous, which Paul tells me stars Sandra Bullock, which I did not know. That I guess I own. Paul told me I own this movie, which I forgot. And he says that I've seen this movie, which I do not remember. So let's listen to the lovely stylings of Daniel Craig.
Down the line.
And he was playing the guitar as well.
Beautiful.
Where the skies are always blue.
That was the Andrew Ridgeley of Capote movies, if I remember correctly. Because Capote won the Oscar for an infamous starred Toby Jones as Capote with Sandra Bullock as Harper Lee, and I know, Daniel Craig had a little part in that. But hey, that wraps up another movie showcast, everybody. Follow us on Twitter at The Movie Guys, on Facebook.com/The Movie Guys, as well as YouTube, iTunes, SoundCloud, Vine, Instagram, LinkedIn, all that shit. Thanks to Vanessa Whitney.
Yay, Vanessa Whitney.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate that. And go to puppetup.com, PUPPETUP.com.
Boing.
And you'll check out everything you need to know about her tour and where you can go see her across the country, which is fun. And then another Muppet movie coming out in a few weeks. That'll be fun.
On your birthday.
On my birthday, March 21st. Thanks to Steve Scholes as well for writing contributions to the show every week. And remember, you can find everything we're up to at themovieguys.net. Thanks for listening.
And we'll say hello to friends who said goodbye.
Shaken, not stirred.
When we find that long lost gold mine in the sky.